Okay, so if you were collecting cards back in the 80s and you were buying 86 Fleer basketball cards, you might have realized it came with a stick of gum. And there's one sticker in those pack of 86 Fleer, and that sticker card was backed by that piece of gum. And the most common thing on these 86 Fleer stickers is that there's usually, very commonly, a big gum stain on that card. And you can see on this Julius Erving, number 5 in the set, that there's a pretty sizable stain. And you can get a good idea of where the stain is, even if it's not visible, just by kind of running your finger over the card, and you'll just notice, that there's clearly a stain there. So the best way and the easiest way and the most non-destructive way of removing these stains is to take a dryer sheet right out of the laundry, and you're just going to take that sheet, take your index finger, and just rub very gently where that stain is. Now don't dig your fingers into it. Just do a nice smooth overlay of that dryer sheet where the stain is. You don't really want to scratch up that card. It could be pretty easy to do if you're using your fingernails or really digging that dryer sheet into this. But, in some of the rougher areas, you might have to rub it, just a little bit harder to get that stain off. And you'll be able to feel that stain with your finger as you're kind of moving along the card. You'll start to kind of feel it come off. And so I've done a little bit on this. You can kind of feel the gum stain coming off on the card. And now I can just see a little bit more down here. And it's not as visible, but there's definitely a little bit of a stain here. I can feel it with my finger and up here. And then if you kind of look at what's going on here, there's a little bit more I can see right there. And so that, actually a little bit more there too. I can definitely feel it with my finger. Now, if you had just submitted this to PSA, back in the day, they're not doing qualifiers anymore. But if you had submitted this to PSA several years back, they would have issued the card with a grade with an ST for stain qualifier. And typically nobody really wants anything to do with those qualifier cards. Now, what PSA does now, if you submitted this with a pretty sizable gum stain on the back, what they're going to do, they're not going to give you a qualifier, but they will move the grade down by 2 grades. So, for example, if you had a card that looked like a PSA 7 and had a really big gum stain on the back that was very noticeable, you're more than likely going to get a PSA 5 on that card. Okay, so on this Dr. J, try to show you that. This is looking pretty good, actually. Maybe a little bit more that I could go over with, but you can see that dryer sheet does a really good job of removing those stains.